let's get right into it. So today we are going to discuss, gosh, I wish there's a way like for on Zoom to be able to put like people on a panel up above. But today is about just asking questions. I know that Rob's going to be here, Mike's here, I'm here. I'm trying to think of who else we'd asked to kind of be, if you will, the panelist. And then today's a day to be able to ask questions about anything comes to, real estate related specifically. So if you guys can take a minute, unmute yourself, ask a question. And if we get no questions asked, then we'll probably just kind of just talk about what we feel like we're doing right now that's working really well. Maybe we can dive into that. So do we have any questions that anyone wants to post? And you can either put on the group chat, I'm monitoring that, or you can unmute yourself and ask away.
Or maybe it's not even a question. Maybe it's something that you're working on that you're struggling, that you kind of share with the group. And then maybe one or more of us can start chiming in with some possible solutions around that. And it could be more of a mastermind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not all at once.
No kidding.
Ryan's trying to ask a question, but he is not. It's muted, Ryan.
I think maybe like 2026 would be the year that people learn how to use Zoom properly. Maybe that's too hopeful.
He gets a pass because
how do
he's in the main
you
office.
use Zoom?
Yeah,
I don't know how to do it.
okay,
No, my question was going to be, what advice would you guys give to a brand new agent as far as what to do first?
who wants to tackle that?
A good question. If you're a brand new agent, I would say build out your database. I think that's key. With a proper CRM, especially we're all using follow-up bots. So start reaching out to your database, get their email address, get their mailing address, let them know that you're in the real estate business, that even though you're brand new, that you have a strong support team backing you up, because some people may not give you that much confidence since you're brand new, but let them know, hey, even though I'm brand new, I have a strong team that's backing me up. If you have any questions that I may not be able to answer, I could assure you I'll get the answers for you. And start working your database. I'm still puzzled how even seasoned agents don't have a database established. So that's my 2 cents on that.
What I would add to that is that, like, I don't know if I would make it a big thing saying that, hey, I'm brand new to real estate. Because again, I think you're gonna have people be like, okay, well, cool, get some experience before I do any business with you. And I like what you said as far as like having a team to be able to support you. I think I would just go like dive right into it. So imagine if I'm like, day one, you're doing no posts about real estate. And then the next day you're freaking showing a whole bunch of houses. Like that's what I would spend, like, as far as my social media presence is concerned, like every single day, like in a very nauseating fashion, I would be posting every single home that's available for sale in the areas that you serve in. Like I'd be at the property. Hey guys, this is Nazar. I'm previewing this house on 123 Banana Street. This home has 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, priced at $895. And I want to show you the inside of the property, and then do a tour of the inside. And then do that literally like 2-3 times a day. And guess what's going to happen after a month of doing that, of showing all these homes? Guess what people are going to think? They're not going to know that you started a month ago. They're going to be like, dang, like Nazar's freaking showing properties all the time. Like I literally have gotten so much business from my sphere by just calling me saying, hey, Nazar, I saw this one property that you showed. I really like it. Like, I'd like to see something like it. So the question, Matt, is if you're a brand new agent, what should you be doing the first 30 days?
Got it. Okay. Reaching out to everybody you know. It's as simple as that. For those who've been to Tom Ferry events, and I've met with agents who, they say, I don't have a sphere, I don't have a network. And I'm sure for us who've been to a Tom Ferry event, he said, go to your contacts on your phone, scroll to the very bottom of your contacts, and it will give you an amount of people you have in your phone. I have 1,160 people. That is where you start, right? If they're in your phone, you already know them in some way. They already know you. Start there. That's where your sphere starts from.
So Matt, you call me, my last name is, Zimmerman. You
I
call
can't
me.
even say your real last name, Nazar, to be honest with you. So pick a good one.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
So you call me, you haven't spoken to me in a year, 2 years. What's that conversation look like if you're a brand new agent? What do you say?
So, hey, Nazar, it's Matt Beret here. I know we haven't spoken in a long time, and I'm sure in the last couple of years, we've both had some big life changes. I want to let you know, Nazar, that I've recently just got my real estate license. I'm licensed here in the state of Arizona. I passed my test first time. And I wanted to just reach out to you and let you know that I'm now not in my prior business, which was X, Y, and Z. I've actually moved into the world of real estate. And I just wanted to reconnect with you and let you know that in case you ever come across anybody in your sphere, your church, your circle of friends who have questions about real estate, whether they're looking to buy or sell, that, I could throw my name in that ring and provide some value to them for you.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Congratulations on the move.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's it.
Yeah, it does. Here's the thing. It doesn't need to be a hard sell. You're calling somebody that you haven't spoke to in a while. And if you start that initial conversation with like, hey, Nazar, I've just got my real estate license. You thinking about buying or selling? They're going to be like, well, I'm not going to answer that phone call ever again, right?
Yep.
That initial conversation just needs to be, my life has gone in a different direction. I've changed tack. I'm no longer doing what I did. I'm now doing something different. Because if you don't update them, let's say my last job was in IT, which mine was actually. Nazar, you may call me and say, hey, dude, I'm thinking about buying a new computer. What should I buy? Actually, I don't do that anymore. I'm not your guy. I'm in real estate. Oh, shit, I didn't know. I'm sorry. So it just needs to be a really soft introduction. My life's changed. I've gone in a different path. This is what I can offer you. If you know somebody that needs some assistance, I would love for you to give me a call. That's it.
Yeah. I think what I would just add to that is I'd say, hey, when's the last time you've looked at the value of your house? Or when's the last time you've looked into how much equity you have built in your home? You might be surprised of what that number is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It all depends on how deep you are, in my opinion, how deep you want to go with it, how comfortable you are engaging that conversation from the get-go, especially if you're a new agent. You may not be comfortable asking those questions because you're still learning and understanding that aspect too. But just, getting your name out there. And if you're comfortable doing it, absolutely do it. Ask that question.
Yep. Rob, 30 days. What do you do?
So obviously the database is important. We've heard that. I think even for experienced agents, it's super important. What I would say is anyone who doesn't have tons going on is probably going to get through their database anywhere between 1 and 7 days in terms of compiling the data and reaching out. So it's like, okay, now what? So I would say there's 2 other things I would focus on as a new agent. Number 1 would be create as much opportunity as you possibly can to learn. So if you're on a team or you have a team leader or there are agents that are around you, ask and be vocal around wanting to shadow them. Can I go on your seller appointment with you? Can I go on your buyer showing with you? Can I create a CMA with you? Can you help? Can I shadow you or watch you write up a contract or offer for your buyer? Like, these are all teachable moments, and anyone can leverage their team to learn these things. It's an opportunity to just get better and increase your levels of confidence so that when you do have conversations with real human beings, you're not starting from the ground level. The second thing I would recommend is to step outside your comfort zone and start to have conversations with people that you don't know. So if you're on a team and there are leads coming in, whether they're Zillow or Zillow Flex or Google pay-per-click or anything like that, like have those stranger conversations. They're going to be very uncomfortable in the beginning, but the more of those that you have, the better you'll get. And I would even say, like, honestly, do things that are totally out of your comfort zone, like knocking on doors, or cold calling, circle dialing neighborhoods. I know when I first got into the business, I had a very small list of database people. After a few days, I was done calling them and organizing them in my database. And I talked to my broker and I said, what can I do now? And she's like, call expireds. And I was like, what is that? And she told me about it. And I said, well, why don't I just go knock on doors instead? And there's a story of me in my first year in the business. I got a $2.5 million listing in Laguna Beach. It was an expired listing that I knocked on. And I tell people all the time, I didn't have business cards. I didn't have a real estate sign. I had no experience, no Supra, didn't even have them sign a listing contract, didn't even put it in the MLS. The guy's like, yeah, I'd sell it. And I put it on Craigslist and I ended up finding a buyer for it and double ending the deal. So like those kinds of things happen. And after that, it started me off on this door knocking journey. And to this day, we still door knock. And it's a great way to stir the pot. So I believe you get what you give. And if you're willing to do things that most agents aren't willing to do, then you'll be rewarded with things in this business that most agents will never be rewarded with.
First of all, I don't think he quite, pictured or made that picture clear. That was his first freaking deal in real estate. Like that was his first sale, was knocking on a $2.5 million expired listing and double ending the transaction. Another thing I would say, if you're a brand new agent, is to be part of a team, right? Like there's massive value in being a part of a team. You get that exposure of agents that are experienced, you get leads, you get culture, you get training, you get all those things. And obviously that's a huge paramount of thing that they should be doing. Rojo asked this question, said, what conversion are you having today regarding the debt ceiling and rates at 7%? What do you mean by debt ceiling?
The fact that the US government is going to default on all of their debt June 1st if they don't come to an agreement.
And that's
Oh.
how it's affecting
That's not-
interest rates.
Wrong
and
person to
people aren't
ask. Rob,
paying.
what are your thoughts?
Honestly, I don't get involved in the nitty gritty of all that stuff. For me, real estate's very individual to our clients. And so, okay, here's the deal. The debt ceiling is what it is. The interest rates are what they are. The home prices are what they are. I have one question. Are you a buyer or a seller? Like, how important is it for you to own a home?
Yeah.
Oh, it's important. You're a 9 out of 10. Well, then it doesn't matter what the debt ceiling is, and it doesn't matter what the rates are. Let's talk to a lender and let's figure out the numbers. And if it makes sense numbers wise, then let's put a plan of attack together and make it happen for you. And if it doesn't, then what do we have to do over the next 6, 12, 18, 24 months to make it a reality? So for me, my brain operates as problem solver. So if I can understand what a client's problem is, and then my goal would be to put together the solution for them. And I don't focus on external facts because we can't control those facts. We can't control the rates,
Exactly.
but we can control our mindset around the rates, and we can control our spending habits or our financial habits or the lender or the loan we choose. We can control all that. So can we control enough factors to overcome this issue, or can we not? And if we can't, is there a way around that? That's my approach.
Mike, Mike, do you have anything?
I've never had a client even ask me about the debt ceiling. Like Rob said, it's an external factor. I don't think we are going to default. But again, they read articles every now and then. They get scared, and that paralyzes them. I think as experienced agent, you just got to be a source of value to your database, to your family and friends. Just let them know that it is what it is. Just find out what's important to them. What is it that they're trying to accomplish? Like Rob said, are they trying to buy a house? Are they trying to sell? If they're not ready, what could you do to strategize things with them to prepare them and just give them value? But as far as debt ceiling, the rates, it is what it is. It's not in our control.
Yeah, I have just a quick little analogy that I think will go really well with this, and it could apply for lots of other things. So if you guys were all at the beach together, we're at a pool. Pool is more of a controlled environment. So let's say we're at the pool, and the pool is 40 degrees. That's the temperature of the pool. But raise your hands. Who'd be willing to jump inside and swim? Raise your hand. Okay, we got 2. Let's say the pool temperature was 70 degrees. Who would jump in? Okay, what about if it was 85 degrees? Who would jump in? Okay, 90. Who's jumping in when the pool temperature is 90? Okay, most all of us would feel very comfortable jumping at 90. So, Rochelle, in this market, when I could ask the same question, who would buy a home with 7% interest rate? Who would buy a home at 6%? Who would buy a home at 4%? Who would buy a home at 5%? And all you're waiting for, and our job as realtors, is to find people that would raise their hand saying, I'd buy a home at 7% interest rate. And guess what? Just like there's only a handful of people that would jump in a pool at 40 degrees, there's gonna be less people that are gonna be willing to jump in a pool or jump into the real estate market when the rates are at 7%. There's just less people, right? That's very evident, predicated upon the number of transactions that have taken place in the United States as a whole. And so our goal isn't to persuade anybody to buy a home and tell people how amazing 7% interest rates are, right? There's some agents who are like, I remember when rates were 18%. I'm like, cool, when homes were, mortgage interest rates were at 18%, home values were like 25,000, right? You can't buy a car for that nowadays. So I get that there's a difference that way, but it's all affordability, right? And so you're just looking for, our job is to look for those individuals that don't have a problem with that, are either cash buyers, are putting a crap ton on the down payment of the next house. So like, you know what? I'm selling my home. I'm making $400,000 cash. I'm buying this next house. My loan is only for $300,000. I know I'll refinance at some point in time to a lower interest rate. I'm all good. It's all good. The guy that says, no way, I'm not interested. I'm going to wait for values or interest rates to go down to 6 or 5 or 4 or whatever it is. Cool. You wait on the sidelines. When the pool temperature gets hot enough or when the rates go down, then you can jump back into the market. Does that make any sense?
By then, there won't be any more room in the pool.
Sure.
Amen.
There'll be more people. Yeah, just
Right?
trying to get to the pool. Absolutely.
The nicer the pool is, the more crowded it's going to be.
That's it. That's it. All
I
right.
had a quick question for you guys, and I know Mike is really good with his past clients and nurturing his sphere. But can you guys put some input? Like, if I'm terrible at talking to my past clients, how would I reach out to a client that closed escrow 3-4 years ago that I haven't really talked to much since then? And how do you not make that awkward?
Just
Start-
don't talk
start
about
by
real
changing
estate.
your language.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Start by changing your language.
You mean
I'm
your-
terrible at keeping up with my past clients. If that's the case, then why even bother, right? So change your language first.
Okay, so
I
if you,
would,
go ahead,
I'm
Mike.
sorry. So if I closed on an escrow, say 4 years ago, I haven't talked to them. First, I'll call and apologize. Like, hey, you know what, Peter? I owe you an apology. We closed escrow 4 years ago and I haven't touched base with you. So I'm taking responsibility. How are you? How's the family? How's life treating? How's work? Hey, by the way, you know what? I've noticed since we bought your property, values have increased. What I would love to do for you, Peter, is send you a video CMA about the value of your property. Would you be interested? 9 out of 10 times, they're going to say, sure. Send them a video CMA of the property value and then follow up and then just start billing report again, but don't call and just jump in. Who do you know wants to buy or sell? No, you'll come off as a commission breath agent. But apologize on the mistake that you've dropped the ball. You haven't touched base with them for 4 years and then just try to rebuild that relationship. If there are a few people that we haven't talked to in a while, maybe a year and a half. We're doing our summer picnic in June. It's a great way for us to call our clients back. Hey, you know what? We're having a summer picnic. There's gonna be a ton of food, games for the kids. Why don't you stop by? Let's reconnect. And I'm already getting RSVPs for it. So
It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. I think a really easy way to stay in contact with your past clients is, and I use this analogy, if you've got investments, if you've got stock portfolios or investment portfolios, and you're using a stockbroker, you better damn well believe that stockbroker is going to send you every other week, every month, whatever that routine period is, they're going to send you an update of your portfolio. Your stocks have gone up, this investment's done this investment's gone down. They're going to give you an overview of your portfolio. We have to look at ourselves as not just realtors, but financial advisors in the world of real estate. It's our job to reach out to every one of our past clients every 6 months or every 12 months and say, hey, guess what? Your biggest financial investment has gone up and it's now at this value, or it's actually stayed flat, or it's gone down. We have to deliver that news every 6 to 12 months. If you do that constantly, they may just take one snapshot, look at it and say, you know what, we're not selling. This is our forever home. You're going to take us out in a casket. But just keeping them appraised of that value. And honestly, if you do this every 6 to 12 months, they may turn and say, how do I get some of that equity out of my house? Because we want to redo a bathroom, we want to add an extension, we want to put in a pool. And then you have another conversation. If you stop thinking about yourself as a one-time real estate agent, that I'm going to sell your home or I'm going to buy your home, and then I'm going to wait 3 to 7 years for you to buy and sell again, but think of yourself more as a financial advisor in the world of real estate, you better believe that when they know somebody that's thinking about buying and selling, they're going to turn and say, my agent, Matt, he keeps me up to date every 6 months of where my value of my property is. This is the guy you want to talk to. It's a very, very easy conversation. People love to know how much money they have, how much money they've earned, how much money they've gained, and where they are with their investments.
So what I heard these guys say is, one, make sure that you're preparing your CMA. Two, get your head out of the mindset that they don't want to talk to you, that you can deliver no value to them. You could absolutely deliver value to them. And then thirdly is simple invitation to an event, right? It's a very, very simple way to be able to say, hey, we're having a picnic in the park. You should come, we'd love to be able to see you there. This is what's we're doing there. We're giving away $500 gift cards, whatever. Or, hey, I'm sorry that I haven't talked to you for 4 years. Oh, and by the way, I prepared, the CMA about the value of your house. I'd love to be able to send you. Would you like a copy of it? And who's going to say no to that, right? They're going to say yes. And again, I guess I should be speaking on this term because I suck and never call my past clients.
No, I can't even talk, but would you even acknowledge, do you absolutely always acknowledge that you've ignored them for the past 4 years? Or could you go into like what Matt said and just start sending them the CMA and providing them with information and kind of not even acknowledge that you've been ignoring them? Or would you always acknowledge that, hey, my bad, I haven't followed up like I should. I'm trying to correct that.
I from experience, when acknowledging that, hey, I haven't talked to you for a while, I've missed you, how's the family? That's the icebreaker. Let them know that you care enough. You're not, my initial call to them has never been, do you want to buy or sell? Because if I haven't talked to you for 4 years, I don't think I'm in the position to ask you if you want to buy or sell. Okay, but when I do call, like, hey, Christina, I haven't talked to you for a while. How's everything? How's Matt? How's David? How's John? How's the dog? You guys loving the neighbor? What's new? I owe you an apology. I should have been touching base, and I haven't. I dropped the ball, but promise you, moving forward, you will be hearing from me on a consistent basis. Give them the confidence that I'm back, and I'm going to be responsible. They will appreciate that. You'll believe it or not. So,
what's funny is that Peter, obviously, he's in my team, and so I know him well. He's like me. Like, I do transaction. I don't care to talk to them ever again. I just want to do the transaction and move on. And so I know that I can resonate with you in that front. Because if I call you and be like, hey, how are your kids? I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I don't give a crap about how your kids are doing. I just know if you want to buy or sell. But I bet you if we change the attitude towards that, then we would be a lot more successful because it seemed genuine and it wouldn't just be like fake. I'm just saying,
what?
And I appreciate you pointing that out because that is 100% true.
There's also
a missed opportunity, guys, if you do that. Look at
100% agree. Totally agree.
100%.
That's what I'm asking.
There's also really, and I see you got your hand up, Rob. Sorry, I'm cutting you off here, brother. There's also a really important aspect too, is learning communication styles. Okay, I learned this a couple of years ago. We've all heard of like DISC profile, whether people are drivers, whether they're analytical, whether they're all those. If you can learn the communication style of your clients, like, do they want the story about something, or do they just want the numbers? Do they want to know what they have to do, or do they want to see the flourish of all the steps and all the beauty? If you can start to analyze your communication styles of your clients and past clients, it's actually very easy to connect with them or stay connected. If I've got a very analytical client, me sending them all the flourish and the beauty of what's going on in the neighborhood and aren't the trees blooming and beautiful, they don't give a care about that shit. They want the numbers. My house is now worth this and the values are at this. Whereas if I send somebody who's very romanticized and wants the flourish and the blooms, and I send them the numbers, they're not going to engage. Learning the communication styles of your clients is huge. It cuts through, it gets to their level very easy. And it allows you to converse with them very quickly. And like I said, if I called a driver or an analytical guy and asked them questions about their house, their family, what's been going on, they're like, dude, what do you need? Time's money, baby. Just tell me why you're calling, right? So learning those styles is super important to connect with past clients and also with future people that you meet.
Good point. Rob, you had something?
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask Peter a couple questions. I mean, how important is it for you to get referrals from your existing network, like the people that you serve?
Oh, very important. I mean, that was the majority of my business last year.
Okay.
I wanted to understand more from when you said change your language, where you're saying like what I say about like
you just starting the question off with, I'm really bad at staying in touch with my past clients. So what can I do to you know, I think it's like acknowledging your current situation, but knowing that you want to get better and just changing that, right? Like for like one that I hear all the time is in a group setting, literally 99% of people go, oh my God, I'm so bad at remembering names. Well, change that language, right? Like I'm good at remembering names. Like I will associate an image to that person. I will say their name a couple times and I make a conscious effort to learn that person's name in a group setting while I'm networking, versus the average person just goes, oh, I'm so bad at names. And then what that does is that gives them permission to be mediocre at remembering names. You just don't know that. But when you tell yourself that you're bad at something, subconsciously, you don't give it your all because you've already given yourself permission to fail. So that was just, sorry, man. That's like that Tony 2.0, Tony Robbins motivational stuff. I think you should change your language.
No,
but around the, like, you know, we were talking about, like Mike said, oh, I haven't spoken to you in 4 years. I'm sorry. What are you doing for the people that are closing in May of 2023? Are you staying in touch with those people, or are you just asking questions on how to stay in touch with people that you've dropped the ball with in the past, but in the last year, you've been really diligent at nurturing the recent closings, or is it all a mess?
No, for the last year, I've been getting better at it, adding them on social media, reaching out on different occasions. And then it's just the ones that were from when I first started in the business, like 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
Okay.
Those are the ones that I've dropped the ball with, that I touch base every now and then, but none of it is consistent.
With the newer ones, let's say the people that you've sold in the last 12 months, is there like a documented system or checklist around your closing campaign, or are you just kind of winging it?
A little bit more of the winging it side. They get added onto HomeBot, they get added on social media, and then just touching base through Instagram for the most part, or Facebook, whichever one they're on.
Okay. So I would give you some homework and I would say, how many times do you want to touch your clients in a period of 1 year? I see Nazar laughing over here. He get his head out of the gutter. Right. But how many times do you want to touch your clients in a year? And then I would challenge you to put together a like a documented system around it, right? Like when they close, they go on a drip campaign. When they close, they get put on HomeBot. 3 months after, you know, they close, I call them to see how they've been settling in, to see if they need a referral to an estate planning attorney. They get mail from me. Like I would challenge you to put that in place and then commit to moving forward, doing that for anybody that you sell a home to or help buy. And then I would spend time going back and kind of bringing everybody else up to speed. So that way you're not always playing from behind.
So just one quick story. I went and visited Tim Smith several years back. Me and my mastermind group did. And he talked about one of his agents went door knocking this particular street because they had a home for sale, had a beautiful beach view. And they went door knocking, and the agent that was, you know, that worked for Tim didn't know that they had sold a home across the street and like 2 over without the view like 5 months ago. So the guy had just moved in 5 months ago. And the guy just went door knocking to invite him to come to the open house that they were doing on the view side of the street. And the guy is like, yeah, I'm actually, you know, I'll come check it out. And he came, checked it out, and he ended up buying that home. He had just bought the house across the street. When he first moved into that community, he didn't think that a view was a big deal for him. But as soon as he moved there, he's like, crap, a view is important to me. And he ended up buying that home, and they ended up selling that house and then ended up reselling the home that they had just bought 5 months ago. So just because your client bought a home 5 months ago doesn't mean that they want to sell. I mean, you know, like we just had a client that bought last year and resold, right? Like it happens all the time. You just have to stay in contact with them.
So do you guys have a recommendation of let's just say if you want to make 4 or 5 touches for the year, what do you usually do, Rob or Mike or whoever wants to chime in that has a system?
Oh wait, let me butt in on this one real quick. Wouldn't it be great if you were on a team that did multiple client appreciation events throughout the year that you could invite your clients to? That would be
but I'm
amazing.
asking personally, like what personal touches can I do outside of what the company events are? Because not all my clients are going to show up to our events.
Okay, so can I take this one, guys? All right. So I would say, Peter, start with 5 video text messages a day. Okay, make that a habit. Look up your database, look them up on Instagram and Facebook, see what they recently posted, and just shoot them a video text message. Hey, you know, I just saw Your daughter just graduated from high school. Just want to say congratulations. That's a huge milestone. I'm sure you're a proud mama. As always, I'm always here for you folks. Anytime you have any questions, just know that I'm always here for you. Bam, quick 10-second video message. Send it out. Quarterly phone calls is a must. Just check in with them. You know what I mean? Do the client events, do mailers. We still mail out physically every single month. Rob was in my office, 10 days ago, and I showed him our May month's mailer. We're doing our summer picnic and we're inviting people over. So mail once a month, okay? Call once every quarter, just checking on them. And then for Mother's Day, there's a few clients I hadn't talked to for about 7-8 months. I just took out my phone like, hey, Claudia, I just want to wish you a very happy Mother's Day. How's the family? Hope all is well. Enjoy your beautiful day. Bam, I sent it out. She replied all hearts. Mike, oh my God, it's been such a long time. How are you? And we started a conversation. So pick these type of holidays. Thanksgiving, hey, just want to say I'm so grateful for having you in my life. Quick 10-second video text message and send it out. Just be top of mind. Don't be paralyzed that, oh, I haven't talked to them. They're not going to want to hear from you. You'll be surprised. People will want to hear from you. And they're going to eventually say, hey, by the way, how's the market? It always happens.
And I'd like to add to, if you don't like or are not interested in their family and their kids, then I would encourage you to not ask those questions, right? I think there's a disconnect there. Maybe you keep it professional and you keep it real estate related, right? Maybe you just focus on the home and the market and the equity changes, right? Like if you're just going to call and people aren't stupid. If you haven't talked to them in 4 years and now you're like forcing these, how are your family and how is your dog question, they're going to be thinking the entire time, get to the point. Why'd you call me? Right? So I would come up with a series of questions outside of the questions that you don't care for the answers to, and maybe focus on that. That way you're coming across more genuine and authentic versus asking questions just to be asking questions. I don't want to do stuff just to do it. There has to be intention behind it.
One thing I do remember though, a long time ago, I had someone call me that had it was a friend of mine that I hadn't seen or heard of 10 years. And they called me out of the blue and I was super genuinely excited to talk to them, right? Like we're really good friends back in the day. And they're like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, things are going good. And we were like talking, they were making small talk and about family. And then they like pitched their sale of like whatever it was. And I just was so turned off. Like I remember getting off the phone, like telling my wife, I'm like, this person just called me, like so lame. It was such a disingenuous phone call. So I would be very cautious if you haven't spoken to them in a long time to go into just, and I think everybody agrees, like, don't do the, hey, you're looking to buy or sell real estate. Like that's such a turnoff. Like I think offering, hey, would you like to know, like I've prepared something for you already. I've got a gift for you and that is the value of your house, right? Like, would you like that? And that's one thing, but don't go into the whole freaking thing. Like the first couple times you call, I would make it so social, even if it has nothing to do with their kids, right? If that's nothing, but maybe, they like a certain sport or they like whatever, travel. And I think Matt did it, he's spot on, or I think it was Mike, like look up what the last thing they posted about on social media, right? If they wanted to, a recent trip or whatever it is and bring that up, right? Because then that's an easy, simple conversation to have.
Or just invite them to the next, Provident event.
Yeah.
Look, our clients know that we sell real estate, right? So whether you ask or you don't, although ask and you shall be given, it's better to always ask, but you got to earn the right to ask too. You can't just be like, oh, I haven't talked to you in 4 years. I'm really looking for referrals. So I'm going to call. Why don't you just slow play it? Hey, we haven't talked in a while. My company's having an event. It'd be awesome to just reconnect. Are you able to make it? Or like, maybe even start off with, what are you doing on June 25th? And if they're like, well, why, what's going on? Hey, my company's doing an event. It's been a while since we last connected. I'd love to just see you, see how things are going with the family and your house. Can you make it? Can we just hang out? And then when they come, that's a touch. And then when you send your thank you cards or your thank you emails and you're like, hey, it was so great seeing you. I'm so glad we reconnected. I hope you know that I'm always here for you and all your real estate needs. And I'm guessing you're not moving anytime soon. But there are things that I can help you with while you live in this home. Lean on me. I'm here for you, right? Talk soon or something like that. So I think it's maybe a 2 or 3 pronged referral approach versus just, you got to do the jab, jab, punch.
Of course.
Right? You got to do a couple of jabs, Peter. before you ask for anything for yourself.
Can I add something, Rob? So if you do have this intention of reconnecting with your past clients and you haven't talked to them for a while, make sure that you don't drop the ball again. Because if you call them and you reconnect and then you don't call them again for another year or two, it's game over. They're not gonna feel comfortable with you at that point, you know?
Yep.
And as I mentioned earlier, the initial call should not be about real estate. You shouldn't ask for business. Just see how they're doing. Genuinely care about them. How are they doing? How's the family? If they're married or not, whatever the case is, how's their career? What's new? Look them up. Just connect with them. Just be like, hey, you know what? You came to mind today. I haven't talked to you for a while. I just want to see how you doing. How's life? And they'll open up to you. You'll be surprised. They will open up and they'll talk to you. And at the end, they'll ask you, by the way, how's the market? You know, and then you do your spiel. But do not call. I can't believe in the beginning of my career, I was following Mike Ferry's script. And now that I think back, I'm like, how stupid was I? Our call was, hey, John, this is a business call. I was wondering, who do you know that wants to buy or sell home in the next 7 to 10 days? What the was that about? Yeah, I mean, but I was doing it back then. Yeah, I mean, that comes off salesy, you know? So don't make your calls like that. Just curious, like what's going on? What's new? What's old?
Thank you, guys.
Want to add to that?
I'm sorry?
I think Matt was trying to say something.
I was just, I just want to, Peter asked the question about how to touches and staying in touch with clients, past clients. An easy thing that I found from the very get-go was I always had, people that I closed deals with within the first 6 months, they would always call me up. Do I know a painter? Do I know a plumber? Do I know this guy or this guy, a landscaper, whatever. So what I started to do was I would send out a mass email to my database with, hey guys, I've just recently done some business with this company. They're a great painter. This is their contact information. If you ever need a painter, here's their contact information, their company name, and their website. And at the bottom of that email, it says, also, could you do me a favor? If you know of any other painters that you've worked with or have friends that work with, could you send me their info so I can add them to my database? So you're sending something out of value, but you're asking for a favor back. Anytime I pick up a new contractor, whether it's a secondary plumber, a secondary roofer, whatever it is, I send a mass email to my database with that information. I've had clients send contacts back to me saying, I called the painter that you recommended. They were unavailable. So I went to this company. They did a great job. I think you should add them to your database. And I've also spoken to my painter and I've had him at another property. He's like, oh, I just did some work on Jack and Diane's house. And I'm like, who the shit are Jack and Diane? And I've gone back and I'm like, oh my God, I sold them a house 2 years ago. And Jack and Diane saved that information and called my home painter and used him. So again, just delivering those little bit of values. And that could be a monthly email, once a quarter, whatever it is, just sending out a new contractor to your database because they're always going to be looking for it. And if they trust you to buy their house, they're going to trust you to lean into vendors that you use and have verified. That's the important thing. Don't just pick people out of Kelly Blue Book. Make sure you've worked with them, you've verified them, and then pass that information on.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna have time for one more quick question. Anybody have a burning question that they would like to ask?
I have a question. Rob, you were saying something about the estate's attorney. Do you talk to all of your buyers about that after they close, about putting them in touch with someone?
So it's actually something that we talk about all the time internally. We don't actually have a formal system around it. It's probably a horrible example to use since I'm not doing it, but it's something that we want to do. I do casually have conversations with my clients around the estate planning and the living trust. I do think it would be careless to not have one, even if you don't have a family or any kids. Like in any unfortunate situation, if something were to happen, you don't want probate to be the issue. So it's something that we haven't formally rolled out yet, but it's something that I want to be part of our closing platform, because I think, number one, we're doing something good for our client. It's another way to add value versus saying, I'm just checking in on you. It's like, hey, now that you're settled in and now that you actually have enough brain bandwidth to focus on something else other than moving and unpacking, I want to make sure that you're protected in the event of something unfortunate. And so you're helping them with something. And then you're also helping your estate planning attorney out. And I'm always trying to be on the good graces of my estate planning attorney because she works with clients that, you know, kids come into her office and say, hey, my parents passed away, we want to sell the house. And so she might look at me as an option as a listing agent. So I'm really trying to connect the two to not only build credibility with my client, offer value, but also build credibility with the estate planning attorney to generate future business. So I highly recommend, you know, doing that. There are things that we have a drip campaign that says, like, if you need a referral to a third-party vendor or something, that also works. But sometimes it's nice to be specific about the person that you want to refer and why.
Okay. That sounded like a good idea, so I wanted to ask, and I have to
It's a
run
good
out.
idea.
I'm
You
off
should,
to the
you
doctor,
should do it.
but
Everybody should do it.
okay. Thank you, guys. I have to run off. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, guys, thank you for the questions. Hopefully you guys got some value out of this. You know, it's kind of ironic that the conversation is kind of revolved around past clients and Sphere, and I really suck at that. And I apologize for being a bad example to those that are a part of my team. But don't listen to my advice. Listen to these other guys that are way more successful in that arena than I am. So
Well, I think the important message here is none of us are good at everything. You have superpowers and strengths that you possess that we don't, and there are some things that others do better. So it's like with real estate, I always loved how Tom said there's no bad way to get a lead. It's just that past clients create a massive opportunity for most people to generate business. So definitely something to focus on and improve over time. But this was a cool format, and I would like to do this again.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. All right, guys. Awesome. Stay tuned for next week. We're going to have Karen Stone on here, and she's going to deliver some value as far as some of the things that she's been doing to crush it in real estate. So, all right.
Thanks, everyone.
Have an awesome week.
Have a good one.
Bye.